Welcome, everyone, to People on Dating. I'm your host, Will Morales. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this podcast is about the ups and downs of dating and how to navigate through it. Today, my guest is George Dubec. George is the ultimate networker. He started his career in 1995 as VP of sales for a company that produced a TV set-top box that provided internet to television. In 1997, he became the VP of sales and marketing for one of the top web designs and hosting firms in the Southeast. He hosted and produced the Internet Business Hour radio show broadcast in over 35 markets for 12 years. George became an independent consultant in 2010 and has worked with top companies and organizations to help them use the internet to promote their products and services successfully to get more traffic and more sales. George, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. Yeah, so George, you said you were like a love boat type of
Activity, yeah.
networking activity. Yeah.
Yeah, what we did is rented a boat called the Sea Escape, and it held 1,100 people, and it would go out 6 miles out on the ocean. It was called the Cruise to Nowhere, and
Mm.
it would go out there for 6 hours. They had gambling because you had to go out past the 6 mile zone so people could gamble at that time. They didn't have
Oh.
legal gambling. So there was gambling, and we had buffet dinners. And of course, they had cabins because they also would go to the Bahamas. But this particular cruise was called the Cruise to Nowhere, and it was like $39.
Mhm.
And you went out 6 miles, you could eat and gamble, and then they brought you back to port. But we would rent the boat and we'd have 1,100 single people on the boat of all ages, and they had a ball. We'd go out for 6 hours and they'd dance, they'd eat, they'd gamble, and we used to have events and do matchmaking events and networking and stuff like that. And it became very famous down here. That was back when the Love Boat was on TV, so we used to call it the Love Boat.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we had dance parties. We used to do different theme parties. Like we had a mystic mate matching party, and everybody that came to the party would have a sun sign on their name tag. And
Okay.
then we would give them little charts and which sun signs matched up with the best with other sun signs. So people would go around, they wouldn't have a name tag, they'd have their sun sign tag. So people would get matched up based on their sun signs, whether you believe in that or not. It was fun.
Right.
We had a great time. And then we used to have nuts and bolts parties. Did you ever hear those?
No, no, no. Talk more about that.
Okay, all the guys would get a plastic screw and the gals would get a plastic nut. And so the guys would go around to each gal and see if their screw would screw into the nut. And whichever girl they did, they'd win prizes and stuff. So I mean, oh, we did speed dating. You familiar with speed dating?
Yes.
Where you got 5 minutes to talk to every member of the opposite sex. Um, we It was really a lot of fun, and of course, between the courses, the college courses, the events, the parties, we matched up a lot of people back in those days.
Yeah.
But the other thing, though, is the world was so different. This was from 1985 to 1992, and I can tell you the difference in the world today is phenomenal. I mean, what's happening today is scary. I would hate to be single today. I've been married 45 years myself.
No, you're definitely an anomaly because the dating, I'm lucky I have a nice woman with me, but um, I, I have a friend that's in her 20s and she's just having a tough time finding anybody. Basically the guys that she's meeting, they're either a little bit too feminine or they want to take her to bed within like the first or second date. So it's just, oh my God, it seems like there's no courting anymore. I mean, have you found that out, George? Has that
Put it
changed?
this way, William. I've had so many people ask me to get back in the business because it's such a bad landscape out there, and I don't want to because we really have a culture problem.
Yeah.
It's not a male or female problem. Our culture has gone down the tubes. We have no more moral fiber. We don't have any more respect. The lack of respect is unbelievable of each other and even people respecting themselves. So
Yeah.
men don't respect women, women don't respect men. You're never going to have good connections when that occurs. And I hate to say it, I don't know what's going to correct it, but we're living in a very dysfunctional, perverted society right now. And it's all based on entertainment and money.
Yeah.
The two rules, everybody is enamored with entertainment. They got way too much entertainment, too much on the cell phones and the internet.
Yeah.
And again, everybody's just attracted to money. Women, the same thing, whether they say it or not. If a guy's got a fan, like the big joke on your cell phone now, they have all these little clips where a guy walks up
Yeah.
to a girl in a ragged outfit and tries to talk to the girl, and she walks by and blows him off, and then he goes and walks and gets in a Lamborghini, and the
Yeah.
girl turns around and walks over and goes, "Oh, what was your name again?" And then she gets in the car and they drive away. And I mean that they promote that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's definitely changed where now women are asking, or some women are asking that the men pay for their nails, get their hair done, their toes done, even before the first date is started. And that I'm like, wow. I mean, that never happened when I was in there at their age 30,
Well,
40 years
also,
ago.
also what I'm hearing from all the women in reverse is the men were going to lay out a menu and they say, look, if I take you out to dinner, I expect this.
Yeah,
And if we go on 3 dates, I expect this. They
yeah.
basically lay out these expectations that it's like, you pay to like it's they're paying to play.
Yeah, no, it's definitely oh man, the landscape has changed. So George, for you, when you were coming up in your business and you were doing the find a mate, and you had the cruise, you had speed dating and all that, um, they still do speed dating today.
Right.
I mean, I haven't gone to one in 5, 6 years, but they still do it, and they do it by age range. In your opinion, what are some of the ways that people can meet now besides using the phone? And now people don't even exchange phone numbers; they exchange their Instagram accounts. So it's still impersonal, but how do you bridge that gap? Like, what would you suggest men and women do? Like, do they join a meetup group, or what would be some of your suggestions?
Well, I'm going to promote a national speed dating organization called Pre-Dating. Okay, my good friend and his wife, they run it. It's in major cities all around the country. It's pre-dating.com.
Okay.
If anybody wants to go there, they can look up their particular city and they can join one of these speed dating events that are going on again all over the country. But it's pre-dating.com if anybody
Okay.
wants to join a national speed dating group. But what I recommend, and this is back even when I was teaching it, is it doesn't matter what else is going on in the world. You can find somebody that's reasonably compatible by using a referral matchmaking system. And
Hmm.
that's the way I found my wife. So I'll give you a little background on the woman that I married 45 years ago. I was back in the disco days. Remember the disco days?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I had a three-piece white suit, black shirt, gold chains. I had big lamb chop sideburns. I had a Smokey and the Bandit Firebird. So I did not lack for dates. I had 2, 3 dates a weekend. I,
Right.
I was a great disco dancer. So you remember Saturday Night Fever?
One of the greatest movies ever.
Okay, I lived that life of Tony Manero or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Manero, I think. Well, I mean, I walked into clubs and the girls would run up to me and they'd say, "Will you dance with me when Boogie Oogie Oogie comes on?" And
Yeah.
I mean, I had a calling card of women that wanted to dance with me. So of course, I had plenty of dates. But the problem was, I never really hooked up with a girl that I really liked.
Right.
And I said, well, how am I going to do this? I mean, I'm dating a lot of women, but I'm not finding the kind of quality or the kind of person that I want to be with. And I hate to say this, but most of the women that I went out with were blondes with big breasts.
Right.
You know why? Because men are visual. So I
Yeah.
walk in a club and that's what men are attracted to. But that's not what I wanted to marry. I didn't want to marry a woman like that.
Right.
So I said to myself, I was an engineer at the time, and I says, okay, I'm going to use a rational, logical way to find somebody that's a good partner in my life. So I made a list. I call it the love list. I wrote down everything I wanted in the opposite sex. I wrote down personality traits, experience, background, deal makers, deal breakers. Like, for example, I didn't want a girl that had pets. I didn't want a smoker. I didn't want a girl that was even a social drinker. I wanted a non-religious girl. I want a tall, thin, athletic. I
Hmm.
love dark hair, and I'm dating all these blondes. but
Right.
I love dark hair women. And so here's what I did. I had 10 single friends at the time. They were all meeting women. So I made my love list and I gave it to all my friends. And I said, guys, if you run into a gal like this, I want you to hook me up. So 3 months later, I get a phone call from my best friend. He met my now wife at a party.
Mhm.
He introduced us, and boom, we've been married 45 years. She was,
Wow.
she fit my list, but I probably never would have met her on my own.
Right.
So I used a referral network. And what I suggest is not only give it to your single friends, but give it to your mother, your father, your friends. I mean, your neighbors. Give it to people at work. Give it to everybody and ask people, do you know somebody that fits this description?
Right. Now,
Now the other cool
yeah,
thing to do is everybody that's single has at least two or three single friends, right? Um, Roughly.
roughly,
Maybe
yeah,
a
I'll
lot.
say
Like
that.
I had a lot of friends, but let's say you got two or three good single friends. So what you should do some night, sit down and all of you guys or gals make your list and then share it with each other. Give each other a copy of your list. So now your girlfriends or your guy friends know what you're looking for and they could be on the prowl on your behalf. And it
Mm,
works really great. So I used to go out and look for girls that relate to my friends instead of looking for a girl that relates to me necessarily. So you can
right.
have a lot of fun with it. It creates a network of people very proactive and having fun. And here's the other beauty, William. If a woman approaches a man on behalf of a friend, any guy will talk to a woman, and a woman can approach any guy. You know that most women cannot approach a single guy.
Right.
Like, for example, if a woman goes to a bar and she sees an attractive guy, most women cannot go over there and introduce themselves.
Right.
But if you go over and introduce yourself on behalf of your friend, a woman can talk to any guy
Yeah.
because it breaks that personal barrier down. It's not about the guy and the gal, it's about a communication and talking about somebody else.
Right. Right. I like that. I like that point. But I think that sometimes, and tell me if I'm wrong. Like for me personally, I never wanted to meet any of my friends, single friends, just in case if it didn't work out, then I don't want them to be in the middle. Was I overlooking? Or was I being too judgmental on my friends or judgmental on myself by having that type of criteria where I rather just meet them on my own? Uh, yeah, go
No,
ahead.
not that I don't say that there's any rules. In fact, I tell people there's no rules in dating. Like people try to say act this way or act that way.
Right.
I tell people act any way you want because here's a rule of thumb I learned because I've been a public speaker, I've been a motivational speaker. No matter how you act, okay, if you're very nice and polite, or if you're very quiet and demure, if
Yeah.
you're loud and boisterous, if you're off the charts, when you walk in a room, and no matter what you look like, you could be ugly, you could be tall and handsome, but here's the rule of thumb. 10% of the people when you walk in that room will not like you because of the way you look or the way you act.
Mhm.
10% love you because of the way you act and the way you look, and 80% don't give a damn.
Okay, I like those odds. Those odds are okay.
Okay, so if I walk in a room and start pinching girls in the butt and yelling and screaming and going grabbing girls and taking them out on the dance floor, some girl's going to look at me and say, I like that kind of guy.
Right.
And another girl look at me and say, oh, I hate those kind of guys, right? And
Yeah.
that was so my point is don't please other people, please the people that like the way you are.
Okay, no, that's deep. So, George, when you did the love list and the 10,000, and then you had that database of 10,000 singles in South Florida, I mean, is that still active, that database?
Yeah, well, I don't have 10,000 singles now. I have 10,000 people. I probably have about 1,000 single people.
Oh, wow.
Um, I would say 1,000 single and searching people. There's a
Okay.
lot of single people that they're dating somebody or they're living with somebody or they're not really searching or they just broke up. So to get a really good solid list of single, I call them single and searching people
Right.
because, and also people cycle, sometimes they're searching and then they start dating somebody and they're off the block and then they go back on the block, they break up. It's a very volatile kind of a list.
Yeah, I see. And it's funny because, and we're talking with George Dubec. Today's topic is find a mate to relate. Um, I again, I noticed that just more and more people are just on their phones, just as the new saying, DMing me and DMing her and all that. It seems like nobody wants to talk anymore. Like I said before, everything is all through texting. Are we losing, or are the young men and women just losing their perspective when it comes to meeting someone in person, where you can at least see their facial expressions, that you can hear their voice tone? Everything is just through text. It's weird. This era is
Yeah,
I'm
the
not a
other thing,
fan
William,
of.
though, that's not just singles, that's everybody.
Right.
In business, in family relationships, it's all it's the new culture. Like I said, we got a culture problem. And then
Yeah.
the other thing is, and I know that a lot of females that are listening to this show are going to be offended, but the biggest problem we have in relationships, the number one biggest problem is women in today's world. I label them she-males. They're not females, they're not males. They're
Mm,
somewhere in the middle. So women have went from femininity to being a she-male,
right.
which means like, listen, back in the day when in the 70s, okay, when men were men, women were women, when I was around a woman, I felt like she was a feminine creature and I felt masculine. I felt like I wanted to be nice to them and be courteous and they were like, I don't know how to explain it, but I had this feeling like I'm a guy
Right.
and I want to be nice to women. And in today's world, I don't feel that way about any woman I meet. I have not met a woman that I felt that way in today's world at all. They feel like they're a person, but they're not a female, a feminine female. They're not feminine. They're trying to either, I don't know if they're trying to compete with me or go nose to nose with me or be better than me. But that attitude, that pervasive attitude has permeated to most women.
Yeah, no,
I hear it
you're
all
right
the time.
about
These
that.
women say guys aren't polite anymore. They're not courteous anymore. Well, that's because guys don't feel like being that way with these women.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard the same thing, George. And women complain that chivalry is dead. Some men say, yeah, it is dead because women killed it. So it seems like I said, it's a battle of the sexes to see who's more masculine, or can this man be more feminine than her? It's just crazy. First of all, George, I wanted to thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I could talk to you probably for an hour, but before I let you go, talk more about your books. I know you got a few
Yeah,
books.
I've written some books lately though. Even though I don't want to get back into the singles business,
Right.
but I wrote a book here called The
Uh,
Find a Mate Handbook. It's a real simple, easy book. Teaches referral matchmaking. It
yeah.
teaches you how to interview the opposite sex, which I recommend that you do have some basic criteria that you get out front in advance before you start dating. Like, for example, one of the big questions I tell women to ask a guy as soon as they meet and they like the guy and they're attracted to the guy and he's attracted to you is ask them what is their objective if this relationship that we're starting continues and grows. What is your objective? Are you looking for a marriage partner? Are you looking for somebody to live in? A business partner? Are you looking for somebody to have a baby with? Or are you just looking for sex? Are you looking
Right.
for a date? So if a woman doesn't establish that right in the beginning, they're wasting maybe months and months or even years of time with the guy. And then they find out too late the guy wants something totally different than what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no,
So,
that's perfect. I love that. Um,
oh, wait,
yeah,
and
go
then
ahead.
here's
Yeah,
the other
the
book.
other books. Moving in a little closer. There you go. Oh, now it's a
Well,
little blurry for some
okay, take
reason.
a, all right, there it is.
There it is.
Okay, it's called Sexuality
Sexuality
Probe.
probe. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
This has 500 love, romance, sex questions.
Okay.
So what I recommend is after you meet somebody that you like, you get this book, and when you're on a long car ride or you're sitting around at home eating popcorn, you open the book and you ask each other questions out of the book. Now, a lot of these questions, a woman or a guy won't ask them directly.
Right.
But if you ask them from the book, it's like a buffer. It's like, oh, what's in the book? So I'm
Right.
just asking you this here.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to get to know the other person's sexuality.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely put that on the show notes. And if somebody wanted to get in contact with you, George, what's the best way?
They can go to my email is george at georgedubec.com. And I'm actually, somebody approached me about doing a reality TV show. So I have a website called lovelistnetwork.com. That's
Okay.
lovelistnetwork.com, all one word. And it has my contact information. You can sign up and get on my email list. And you can also find my books and so forth on the website.
Yeah, again, I'll definitely put that on the show notes. Well, first of all, George, again, thank you so much. You definitely give us a little bit more to think about because I just see this generation just, as they say, they're cooked because everything is all seems transactional. It's not, I don't feel connections anymore, especially with anybody that's under 35. It's just totally different dating when we were younger.
Well, I'll tell you one other thing I learned is in talking to women in their 20s, 30s, and 40s that have become educated and they have professional jobs and they're making a lot of money. They tell me that they don't like guys in their age range because guys in their 20s, 30s, and 40s in today's world are much more immature than when we grew up
Yeah, I heard that too.
because they
Yeah.
just want to party, they want to drink with their buddies, they want to take trips, they want to chase women, they want to go to football games or soccer games or whatever, and they don't want to get committed. They don't want to get serious. They don't want to take care of kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another topic we got to talk about one day when I want to have you back on. It's single mothers. Now that's when I was younger, I had no issues dating single mothers. Now it's like, oh, there's no not a it's a no-win situation for the man. What do they get out of it? It's like, well, you're dating the mother, sure, the kid comes with the package, but yeah, it's totally different, George. I mean, my God, when it comes to mothers.
Yeah. It's sad to say, but look, I graduated high school in 1964.
Mm,
Think about that.
wow.
That was in the Happy Days. Remember that movie Happy Days?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That was my era. So
Yeah.
things were so different. In fact, listen to this. In the high school I graduated, there was no such thing as drugs.
Mm,
There wasn't even marijuana,
wow.
heroin, fentanyl. None of it. It didn't exist.
Yeah.
The
And
only
now
thing
it's all over the place.
we had what it was called 3.2 beer, 3.2% alcohol beer. Low alcohol beer was what everybody like underage could get and
Right.
get a little buzz.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh my God. What a change in generation. Well, first of all, George, again, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I really, really appreciate it.
Okay, anytime we can talk about. There's a lot of subjects we can address.
Oh no, don't worry. I'm definitely going to have you back on sooner than later.
All
So,
right.
again, thanks, George.
Okay, William.
All right. Bye-bye.